Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Interaction podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up joebiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Interaction podcast.
One, two, three, four.
There's a reason Vivek rhymes with fake. He was always there to be, a Jill Stein disruptor type. And all of these people are like, third party. Oh, I'm going to vote for anybody but Jimmy.
And let us not forget that he went on a minority scholarship that the Soros has set up. And while he was making $750,000,
I haven't ever been paid by Soros, by the way.
His wife was going around to Iowa voters like, I'm going to stump for my husband. And so she goes and then she's like, so what is it that you think about my husband? Why aren't you going to vote for my husband? And, looking for that honesty to show him that she's really just a down-to-earth gal, like them. And they go, one person said that he was too brown. And then others were saying that they thought he was Muslim. Because I guess if you're a brown person, you have to be Muslim because India is in the Middle East. So there you go.
Okay, well, the most noteworthy response that I heard as to why they weren't going to vote for Vivek in the Republican primary is that because he was brown and because of his name and the fact that they were still sore over 9/11.
What? Oh my God. I'm not a fan of his, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. Because they're still upset about 9/11.
Just because they have him they're racially profiling badly.
Yeah. Yes. So, if you're not familiar with it at this point, which is entirely possible because the media has failed us, most of the attackers on 9/11 were Saudis. So,
yeah.
Which is very different than being from India.
Well,
listen, I watched an interview today.
Vivek was born in America, so I feel like that's some absolution for sure. But if not, even if you want to blame,
it's easier for them to say all brown people are the same. Come on, lazy ass white, racist cracker, that's ridiculous,
just unfortunate,
uneducated. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing it's just an extra terrible time to be a white person right now is because it's
you're embarrassed by all of your cohorts. I'm sorry.
Secondhand embarrassment. I get it, Tara. I get it.
Oh my God. There is a woman that I found on TikTok a little bit ago, a Black woman who I was just scrolling and she was like, can I have a conversation with white women for just one moment? Can you all maybe start wearing a pin to let us know if you're okay with us? Can we can you something on your lapel, maybe, or something, let us know that we're cool. Cause we gotta know where the good ones are at. And, we gotta be able to know right away.
Well, that's totally fair.
Right.
Let's be a little careful with that because that's getting, we'll eventually get to the point where someone's going to force us to start wearing those yellow stars on our arms.
Right. Well, it's more like we're in a club. It's more like the Mickey Mouse Club. You get a little pin with Mickey Mouse and I'm part of the club. If you're in the Low Bar Corral, you could buy a t-shirt. And more to let us know that we're cool with each other in a way where it's and I was like, well, and for me, first of all, I was grateful for her to open up that conversation, because I think if you're going to have that conversation, it should come from a Black woman, as instead of a white woman going, "Is there a way I can let you know that I'm okay with you without looking like a Karen?" So, because again, you never want to overstep, and you always want to make sure people are understanding that you're here to elevate and appreciate, not appropriate, but you also don't want to fall over yourself and being like, "Come on, guys, I'm one of the good ones." So, and I think that's a lot of the reason why white women are afraid to speak out on behalf of Black women, because they don't want to look like they're pandering. They don't want to look like they're trying to
like they're trying too hard, or that they're kind of patronizing these women and not giving them like how it would be seen and how to do. I would just say, I don't know, just don't be racist.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can start by just not being racist, but the whole point is letting a Black woman know that she is fully seen is not difficult. All you have to do is look at her and smile.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need a lapel pin.
No, and I can walk around with my shirt that with my, black, thank a Black woman today. I can walk around with the shirts.
I think now that we've like you've elucidated on this topic, you should wear a lapel pin.
You want me to, would you like to help design it? Because what should it look like? What should it say? I'm white folks.
No, I don't know.
I'm folks, not people. So, I mean,
yeah,
because there's a difference.
That's a good one. Like
right?
that one. See, that one's like a reversed dog whistle, right? Like the white people wouldn't get it, but the Black people would. We were like,
right,
oh, yeah.
And the white folks would get it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So if I just had a pin that said "I'm folks,
not people,"
I wouldn't even have to say "not people." I would just be like, "I'm folks."
Yeah.
Would that be the kind of pin? I mean, again, not trying to overstep or appropriate, but if it was asked of me, I would be like, well, what should it be?
That's a good idea.
I was just thinking, letting me know, like, just if I'm in a store and I see a woman whose bag, like I like her bag or I like her earrings, or I always compliment women, and that comes from my years of working in the service industry, working as a restaurant host. I would always compliment the woman at the front desk. It always, just part of the thing. And it's just natural for me if I'm shopping. Oh, I like that bag. I like those shoes.
I mean, do women like when you notice they're like accoutrement? Like,
they do, because women don't compliment each other out in the real world very much.
Really?
We don't. And I think Ty can probably back this up, because we just don't. We don't engage each other in that kind of conversation as much anymore. But if I see, and I live in Portland where people wear some funky things, okay? People express themselves. They are not shy, okay? And I will see people will dress like a pirate. It will have nothing to do with Halloween, or dress like a pirate day. They just will. So you will see people in all kinds of outfits here. They are turning it out in any way. And so to me, if I see someone carrying a cute purse, and like, I love that bag, I love your shoes. And women appreciate those compliments, because we do not get enough compliments because in this culture, of course, everyone's so worried about saying the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time. But I think women have a lot of leeway here, and we can compliment each other just like on, oh, hey, I love your sweater. Oh, thank you. I got it at Target, or whatever, Yeah. And it's as easy as that to let another human being know that you're okay with
that you're an ally. Like, I've had women that, have come up to me, and they'll say things, and I'm wrong, and I always appreciate it, and I know that is their way of letting me know that they're an ally.
Yeah.
But that's fine. You don't really have to do more than that. Like you said, just smile.
Yeah.
If I'm on the grocery aisle and there was a woman at Walmart, and we were getting tomatoes, David and I, and they were, I forgot how much a pound, but they were like the vine, and it was supposed to be 6 tomatoes. Somebody, I don't know what they were doing, but tomatoes were missing in all the bags. And so this lady went to grab a bag and not paying attention. And I just went up and I go, no, don't get those. I said, because if you see these are missing, this is what about. There was like one left. And I was like, here you go. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I never would have noticed. And it was just, but she could tell, like, just someone being friendly, and probably she maybe has never had an actual interaction with a Black woman, and especially here in El Paso.
Mhm.
No, she was just a slow smiley after that.
Oh, really?
Like it was just over fucking tomatoes. But
It's really not hard to make someone's day, and it doesn't always have to be a giant gesture. And it's easy.
Maybe.
It's easy. And I'll tell you, no one is expecting a compliment. I mean, even if a woman knows that she's looking good, she's not expecting another woman to acknowledge that, because I don't know if you know this, my friend, but this society has set up women to be competing against each other for bullshit men reasons.
Yes, I'm
And
so
so
sorry.
what we should be
Our societal norms have like pitted women against each other, and I apologize on behalf of all men.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they've tried to make all of our lives a competition when it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be here.
yeah, like
elevating and
we're the
lifting each
fucking
other.
Highlander, and there can be only one.
That is, and it's the older I get,
an
the less
incredible
tolerance
reference.
I have for people trying to pit each other against each other for competition for sport. Like we're supposed to be like in the ring boxing each other all the time. And not to sound like the Barbie movie, but like that's not what we're here for, right? And all of the expectations that are on women, we absolutely need to be like, hey, I like those earrings. Hey, your bag is really cute. And then
So
you keep
simple. And even if I don't like them, even
There's
if I don't,
always something though. Like I
I will say it though. I will say it, even if I was like, oh my gosh, I love that bag. Or
Yeah,
the shoes are, even if they are hideous,
there is something that there's always
because
something.
it's nice to hear.
Is it?
You know what I mean?
It
Well,
is.
I have a different perspective on this from a guy.
Well, you're a dude.
Yeah, I don't like.
Now, we're talking about how women can speak to each
Yeah.
other, and women can create conversations with each other in a society that doesn't want us to. Right?
Yeah,
They
I'm
don't-
like more careful about handing out
So?
compliments to
how
random
about
strangers
this?
just because, like, I don't want it to be interpreted as like I'm hitting on you, unless I'm hitting
And
on you.
that's the other thing that we all have to be careful of, especially me in Portland when everyone thinks I'm a lesbian because I look like this. So,
let your hair grow out, solve that problem.
well, I could make my mother really happy and put on a shit ton of makeup every single time I leave the house.
Well, you look fine.
Thank you. I'm glad no one can actually see us. They can just hear us.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Audio medium only. We do this every week.
Shit. Anyway, Trump is a racist and a rapist. Back to the topics at hand.
Yeah.
He is a hella rapist, and I don't know if we're in the middle of this E. Jean Carroll trial round 2, and he cannot stop defaming her.
Well,
He is literally.
technically, it's actually round 1. This is the original lawsuit from the time where Trump was president. So it's in all likelihood, given that he had an even bigger bully pulpit than he did at the time of the second defamation post presidency, he's probably going to get hammered for a significant amount of money in this particular instance. And not just because he had the bigger bully pulpit, but also because his legal representation is a disaster.
Oh my God, she's so stupid.
Okay,
She
so
is not too pretty for prison. Oh, by the way, we have a nickname for her that I came up with that I'm very proud of.
well, let's tell the listeners who her is.
We're talking about Alina Habba,
Yes, one former garage lawyer.
and I call her Habba the Jut because she's had all that plastic surgery and she's got the duck lips now. It's like half her face is Ivanka and the other half of her face is Kim Guilfoyle.
That is the best thing.
Did you
I've
see
ever
that
had.
old picture of her, like that
Yeah,
original?
she used to be like a normal person,
and she
just
actually
like
looked
Kim
like a lawyer.
Guilfoyle.
She actually looked like a lawyer, which
So Kim Guilfoyle, when Kim was married to Hubba Gavin Newsom,
oh man,
Governor Studley Newsom, she
Right?
was really pretty. She was really pretty and normal looking, and now, of course, she looks the way she looks. And so Alina Habba can't decide if she's supposed to look like Ivanka, Melania, or Kimberly, so she looks like all of them.
yes. But
Looks
she
like all of
put her extensions in her hair. She puts her extensions in, and then the next day her hair's like over here, and then it's right down here.
It's the duck lips that are killing me.
Do you
The duck
even
lips
know?
are
Do you
ridiculous.
even know why Alina Habba is representing him in this case?
Because there's no one left.
Well, yes. Part of the problem is that even though she's super unqualified, regardless of how much Trump is paying her,
Not.
Yeah. Well, his previous lawyer who represented him in the other E.G. and Carroll suit, who, like, despite what you may think of his competence or his demeanor, in all, it seems as though he did a fantastic job. And even though Trump was found liable for defamation in that case, of getting the damages down to only $5 million. I can't think what I'm saying, only $5 million. But yes,
It's gonna go back up though.
Joey Tacopina.
Taco penis?
Yeah.
Tapioca. I also call him tapioca.
I refer to him as phony soprano.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, so Trump threw him on under the bus last week, and
because he quit.
Yeah, well, yep, they had a little falling out, and I totally understand. Phony soprano, he got his little dollars in. He did a pretty good job of representing Trump, as difficult as that is.
Used to be a decent lawyer. I mean, the guy was a rap.
Oh, no.
He was representing ASAP Rocky and like rappers and stuff.
Yes, he didn't used to be a decent lawyer. He is a decent lawyer, and you can tell that because by the time we get to the end of this first, that's now second E.G. and Carroll trial, you're going to see somewhere in the range of $50 to $100 million in damages. And considering the previous one only resulted in $5 million, you're going to be like, oh, Joey Tacopina is fucking fantastic. He might be the only competent lawyer on Trump's legal team at this point.
Well, Chris Kynes is not the worst. I mean, the guy did represent Maduro administration. He's a registered foreign agent, and he made Trump pay him up front. He was the smartest, because he made Trump give him a $3 million retainer up front.
That's your grifted MAGA dollars at work, friends. Your grifted MAGA dollars are paying Trump's legal fees. I hope you're happy.
If you're a Republican donor and you're like, hey, I want to support Trump. I want to keep him out of jail. I'm sending him, my hard-earned money. That's one thing. But like when you look at the quality of his legal representation and you've got Alina Habba out here not knowing like basic rules of evidence, like, how does that make you feel about where your dollars are going? Like,
it doesn't matter. She got a great rack.
Well, she's like asking the judge for like a break so she can look, like Google how to trial lawyer.
She's like, I don't like to be spoken to like that. Like the judge is like basically like, I don't fucking care what you like.
Well,
so
what were those videos from Sarah Cooper? What was the first? Was it like How to Medical? Like Alina Habba's out here like scrolling through fucking TikTok videos trying to figure out how to try a lawyer. It's incredible. I don't know.
I object. You can't do that with this. Or he was like,
yeah, she was like trying to get the trial dismissed or file some kind of weird ass motion.
She wanted a mistrial because the judge is biased against Trump, and he's like, no, that's not happening.
That's not gonna work.
Nope, I've already said that's not happening.
What? And I will give it to Judge Kaplan because he does not have the patience, and he is not giving any fucks like Judge Engoron has been giving Trump some passes. Judge Kaplan is like, sit down and shut up. And I love how Mayo did that tweet, but she's like, by the end of this, Alina Habba may be finally housebroken. She's already been taught to sit down and shut up.
I keep tweeting her
so hard at that. I laughed.
Like, I want to know why she wants to go to prison for Trump so badly. Like, why?
Well, look, all of his lawyers do.
Those are going to come in handy if she does.
Seriously, she and Marge can make toilet wine together with Sydney and Jenna.
I mean, you joke about that, but look at the number of Trump's lawyers who've currently been indicted.
Hello, Rudy Giuliani is fucking bankrupt a billion times over thanks to him harassing Shay and Ruby. So, like, but your average MAGA still thinks that Donald Trump is completely innocent. I had literally a person the other day, and it was a real person, or at least someone who was capable of getting themselves a blue check mark, said that it was a perfect, tried the perfect phone call thing and said everything, like Fonnie Willis is having an affair, and she's like doing all of this crazy stuff, and she's going after Trump. And I'm just like, I wonder why you're going after the black woman who can end Donald Trump's career.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of this. And I was like, please explain to me how it's Fani Willis's fault, or it's my fault, or it's any Democrat's fault that Donald Trump picked up a phone and called Brad Raffensperger and tried to bully him into finding 11,780 votes. Nobody made Donald Trump do that. You know, it's not like somebody from the Joe Biden campaign and went into Donald Trump's office and said, okay, now you're going to call the Georgia Secretary of State and make it look worse for you. That's no, we don't do that. So, you know, when they're trying to tell me that it was a perfect phone call and he had every right to call the Georgia Secretary of State because of the First Amendment. Because this political genius who clearly studied poli-sci at Trump University was saying that he could do that. And I was like, well, actually, no, we can't, because you can't call up a government official and bully them and threaten them into helping you overturn the results of a legitimate election. It's not even
the only recording of a Trump phone call to an election official trying to get them to overthrow. Like, it's not even the only one. He was calling everyone. We literally got the Michigan phone call just a couple, what was it, a month ago? Does anyone even remember that? Did the news even report
when he was calling the fake electors saying, you better do this, you better do that. Yeah. They have him on tape doing all of this stuff, and everyone just like blows it off because nothing fucking sticks to this guy.
Right.
And his enablers who, you know, the minions who are still on Twitter, it doesn't matter how much truth we show them, because you can say a jury found Donald Trump liable of rape, and they're like, no, well, how come he hasn't been convicted? Like, well, it's a civil trial, and in a civil trial, the decision is given out like this. And then they don't want to believe you because, well, he didn't rape her. And it's like, well, you know, the reason she said she wasn't sure is because she couldn't tell if what she was being penetrated with was
there's
a
child
finger
present.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, what? Now go. Get back to it.
I'm just going.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm not watching what's going on in Ty's kitchen, except Ty has made herself a delicious looking dinner. Behind
the scenes here. So Ty's child was in the background, and Tara was talking about
I was explaining how when Eugene was testifying, she wasn't sure if what was penetrating her was a finger or another tiny ridiculous appendage because it was so small. But it's still was forcible, and it was still rape. And if you want to try to excuse him by saying sexual assault, that's still rape. It's still a violent sexual act against a woman. Why are you making excuses for him?
The broom handle, it's still rape. You may not have physically stuck your penis in there, but you violated the sanctity of their, it's rape.
It's rape.
Yes. Well, here's the way
she said no, she fought back. She did not want you on her.
Yeah. Well, here's the way I try to look at it, right? So guys' typical argument about, what they perceive rape to be is like, well, I would love if like some woman kind of harassed me in a sexual way, especially if she was attractive. And I'm like, you have to stop thinking about it in those terms, right? Think about it in terms of like, you're straight.
Was her point. She said people think rape is sexy.
No.
That was her point.
Before we get to that, just like, if you're a guy, think about it in terms of like, you're straight and there's a dude trying to insert something into you in a way that you're not like, that's what it's like for a woman. Like, just because a woman might be interested in sex with someone she's attracted to or in a consensual sexual relationship with, that doesn't mean she wants to be penetrated by some guy that she's not interested in. And it's basically the same thing if you're a guy. Like, you don't want some dude trying, like, think about what a guy would have to go through to like get you in a position to be interested in sex with him if you're a straight guy. Well, I mean, it's like that. Like, you don't want to, and man, they're so disappointing, and I'm tired of arguing with him.
And then the other thing to remember is that it's not really about sex. It's about control. It's about violence. It's about humiliation. It's about degradation. It's about having power over the other person. And so Donald Trump uses all of that to bully and intimidate. And there are people who fall for it. There are people who are afraid of him. There are people who are intimidated by him. I don't understand those people because they're weak and spineless and worthless. I'm not afraid of him. We all know this already. He blocked me on Twitter in 2015 and never unblocked me.
Congratulations.
And he never unblocked me. And like today, John Cooper tweeted, "What's your favorite nickname for Donald Trump?" And I wrote back, "My bitch," because I have the block, my screenshot of the block. He's my bitch. He's what a fucking coward. He's afraid of some lady on Twitter. Yeah, what a great leader. What a great leader. All he wants, women for him are he has no consideration for women whatsoever. And he has a history of this, right? And he has a history of violence against women. He has a history of raping underage. I mean, he has a history of raping teenage girls with Jeffrey Epstein. He flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane way more times than we originally knew.
I think
Now
John
we know more.
174, they were trying to hide him, I guess. But
so yeah, he was trying to get them to change the flight log so that his name didn't show up as often. So
well, I think the key indicator
he doesn't lie about.
I think the key indicator I've gotten of where his respect for women is him burying his former wife.
He couldn't even look at Carol when she was taking the stand. He couldn't even look at her.
Well, that wasn't great, but yeah, no, the
coward.
The key indicator I've discovered of like where his respect for women is when he buried his ex-wife at his golf course.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
You mean after on the live her down the stairs?
In Bedminster. And then he didn't mow the grass.
Nope.
Yeah.
She had 3 damn kids, I'd be like, I'd go mow her grass. Like those kids are.
Yeah, you think like one of the kids would go trim the fucking bushes around her. No. And look, I'm not saying you can bury your family members wherever the fuck you want to, but like clearly this is not only done to be disrespectful to the mother of his kids, but the fact that he used it as an opportunity to get like a small discount on his fucking taxes is just
that's disgusting. And the fact that he probably buried a bunch of stolen documents in there with her.
Well, no, the documents are probably in Russia as we speak.
Well, but here's the thing. We all remember her funeral. And we all remember the pallbearers carrying her coffin out. None of those pallbearers were her children, by the way.
Fair.
None of her sons did not help carry her coffin. It was a bunch of like really burly Russian bodyguard type looking dudes. Oh, and they seem to be struggling under the weight of the coffin. And she was like this tiny bird woman. She was not a big woman, no. Ivana Trump. And so they're struggling under the weight. None of them are related to her. And then we find out later he stole documents and hid them at Mar-a-Lago. Why wouldn't he do it at his other country?
Well, here's the real kicker about that whole funeral procession with the stocky individuals carrying her casket. Wasn't she cremated?
That's what that's, I believe, the assumption. I don't know that it's ever been verified, but even if she was, then you don't need a giant coffin. And I tweeted about it, and people are like, no, there are people who bury ashes, or they bury cremains. Maybe they don't do it in a coffin like that. Maybe they spread their ashes, or they keep an urn in the house, or they have a burial site, but then they put something. Who cares what people do? I don't think she's in there.
Well, I'm just saying.
Or if she's in there, she's not in there alone. They with some light reading. They were like, here's some reading to do while you're while we're teeing off steps away from you over here on the
so she won't be bored in her downtime.
Correct. Like she's flipping through some government secrets, just some things that Trump stole from the White House that the government still can't account for. They just don't know where they are. Oh, I say exhume that burial site and find out what's in there.
It's just incredible because it's only been a month since
we never know, but she is not in there alone. They had like 12 people carrying that coffin.
I've been a bearer at a funeral, and I've like helped carry an empty casket. 2 people can carry an empty casket.
That's my point.
Yeah, there you go.
You did not. There is something else in there beside that woman. Whatever remains of her body, however she came to her final resting place, whether she has been cremated or there are file boxes in there with her. I believe that. I just believe that. And I know that sounds cuckoo, but listen to who we're talking about and think about how he stashed government secrets at Mar-a-Lago in the bathroom by the toilet.
Oh no,
Ugh, with the syphilis hands.
well, here's the
I mean, maybe he didn't have the syphilis hands back then, but he still stored stolen
You know he
government
doesn't
documents
wipe,
in the toilet,
like-
by the toilet.
well, the crazy
Okay.
thing about that
Disgusting.
picture of the documents that he was stashing in Mar-a-Lago, it wasn't that they were stored in the bathroom. It was that, like, if you look really closely, like above the shower curtain, you could see like the lids of boxes like hanging over the top close to the ceiling. And you're like, oh, he stacked them up in the shower. That's fucking bananas. All right. So
It's trash. Florida trash.
Florida trash.
And
All right.
So anyway.
On to our shithole of the week award before we get out of here. I hereby, and I hate to do this because I typically am such a fan and I love her largely, but I don't know what's going on with MSNBC here lately. It feels like ever since they made that deal to have Trump come on Meet the Press or whatever the fuck with Kristen Welker and engage in an hour-long shit show, they've lost their minds. But Joy Reid, you got to stop having these fuckers on here to bash Biden. You out of control.
Man.
You out of control. I love you. Yeah,
And
it's
you know what? I'm so angry because after Kristen Welker's shameful interview with what's her face? Stefanik.
Yeah.
Oh, trashy Stefanik.
Yeah, I was like, MSNBC, I consider to have some of the strongest female hosts. Joy Reid, Nicole Wallace, I think they have some great women. And I go, when I look at Kristen Welker in my mind, I'm like, this is what people think when they say like somebody's a diversity hire, like, because she is not even in their league at all. And they are so incredible. I love her and Rachel Maddow. And so when I'm like, then you have Kristen Welker.
Well,
and
they fired Tiffany Cross, so
she's got this, and I go, that's a diversity hire to me because she wasn't hired because she is a strong journalist. Because when you've got those women and the way they call bullshit out, and then you see her, it's like, so why did they hire her? Like, why? And then I go, that's it. You're hired her just to show, but she does not, she can't hold a candle to those women. Like they run circles around her. So I don't know. Maybe Joy Reid feels like I'm the outspoken Black woman. If I want to have a job, I got to carry these folks water for a minute.
I don't know.
So what? Because I don't see Rachel Maddow cowing to that. And I don't see Nicole Wallace. And it goes, and it's really.
Well, here's the thing. So when they had Trump on for Welker's like Meet the Press debut, and Trump said all that crazy shit and they didn't fact check it, and then the next day everyone on the network just pretended like it never happened, I was like, oh, something's wrong here. Because even Maddow didn't bring it up. And I'm like, this is a disaster. And after firing Tiffany Cross, I was like, all right, something's going on with this network.
I liked her a lot too.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. What I imagine, and look, this is just reckless speculation. We don't have a sounder. But what I think has happened is all of these major news networks, the board members have probably gotten together, held a meeting, and they're like, what happens if Trump does win? He's going to come after all of us. So I think they've made this decision to try and shift to the right out of self-preservation, just not understanding that it doesn't matter. Like, Fox News has been incredibly loyal to Donald Trump, and he's thrown them under the bus. So what do you think he's going to do to you guys? Like, there is no shift far enough right to spare you from his wrath should he ever become president. And that's why Joy Reid, after this debacle of a week of having this nonsense on here, Charlemagne and Angela, just get the fuck out of here. You are hereby awarded the Shithole of the Week award. Before we get out of here, closing thoughts. Ty, I'll let you go first, as per the usual. If there's anything you feel like you need to express here.
Well, I want to say that I really do not appreciate what Angela Rye and Charlemagne are out here doing. They are doing.
Still on that? That was our Shithole of the Week award. You can't let it go.
No, I can't. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm talking about them in general, what they're doing, and it's turning into an everyday thing. They may as well just be freaking Newsmax or something, or or Fox News, because I don't know. They should know because they're not stupid people of what is at stake. What is at stake for all of us? Do they really think that they're going to be given any grace? Do they really think that they are going to escape when the police, when we have military out here on our streets to do what the police have already been doing, but now they've got the backing of the federal government? So you can hold against and always talking about the 94 crime bill, and I get it. It was a mistake. However, we are in 2025.
Wait, hold on. I can't let you just throw the crime bill out there. Like, you got to go back in time. Like, at the time, and I remember it because, like, my parents didn't really talk about politics that much, at least not in front of me. But one of the things they did talk about was that crime bill because they were like, yeah, we want to clean up our streets too. Like, a lot of black people were like, yeah, the crime bill is fucking awesome. Now, of course, they were like,
well, I mean, I have my issues, with it. However, if you have to, you have to go back 30, 40 years to pull out something, a reason that you don't like somebody. And they're always, what are Democrats doing for Black people? My retort is, what are they not doing that you want to see? Because when they're out here passing bills that are feeding hungry children, these children that are home in school, what percentage of those are Black and brown children that are going to go without? That child credit, who did it help the most? What they're trying to do to, codify and solidify and guarantee access to the ballot for communities of color. I go, they are not. Every bill doesn't have to say this is for Black folks only. They are passing bills that affect the Black community, disproportionately, in that we make up the bulk of those that have had their voices taken away, their wages suppressed, and they are passing those. So it's like, if you don't see that, then you just are choosing not to.
we got to put you on Joy Reid show. All right,
No.
Tara, closing thoughts. Go.
Well, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that now.
I think you can handle
Me?
this.
Big
I
deep.
have faith in you.
I would like all of us who are still on Twitter to remember that there are more of us than MAGA people. And I know it seems like that's not the case, but remember that the bulk of American voters are actually not on Twitter with us. And so when we're talking about the things that are really, really important, which is the truthful things, because again, what do they have on the right except lies and propaganda and projection and goalpost moving and bullshit? And they have an embarrassing criminal rapist with 91 other charges against him will be in court for the rest of the year and beyond. I want everyone to focus on telling the truth just over and over again, because the way they like we were saying earlier about Donald Trump was already talking about the New Hampshire primary being rigged and how he did that with the 2020 election. And for months he was talking about, oh, it's rigged. It's a rigged election. It's rigged. And the repetition is what got people believing it, even if it wasn't true. So we have to be louder. And if we have to keep repeating the truth, then do so. And so there's two hashtags that I'd like people to use when we're talking about this. And one is louder than MAGA, because it matters that we're louder than them, because they just think if you're loud, that means you're right. And that's not true. So we have to be louder. And then the other one is the Resistance 2024, because 2016 is coming back and it's not better than ever. It's just 2016 again. They're still using that stupid fucking green frog. So
yeah, that's true.
I call him Pee-Pee now. He's not Pepe. He's Pee-Pee now, because we know.
No, I saw a billboard for a dentist in Texas, in like this small town in Texas. It was a billboard for a dentist, and Pepe was and I was like,
the fuck?
I was like, I am never driving across this state again. I don't feel safe.
I'm so sorry.
It's unreal.
You gotta move.
So anyway, what I would say is there are, believe me, if you are listening to us, there are good people who are out here working to make sure that we don't get steamrolled by these fucking losers who are lying. And it has to be really, like, we cannot be intimidated by their tactics because they're weak. We just have to be louder, and we have
Yes.
to just not let them silence us. And the reason that they're doing what they're doing is because they know they can't win. Scared people behave the way they're behaving. They're scared. They're not confident. Confident people don't have to do all of this crazy smoke screening and crazy and yelling and screaming and all of the stuff that they do. Confident people act like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because they are confident in their abilities and what they do. That's why Democrats don't have to grandstand. Sometimes people even think Democrats are boring just because Democrats get their jobs done. And the abnormalcy in our politics has now created this rage cycle where if you're not like at, living a threat level midnight, something's wrong. No, you're actually supposed to be just like really relaxed and living life. That's what Joe Biden is trying to do for you, but Donald Trump is getting in his way. So that, just keep saying the truthful things. Joe Biden is doing an amazing job. He's doing a better job than every Democratic president before him. Yeah. And we always have the truth on our side. And it may not be the most exciting truth, but it matters.
Yes.
It always matters. The truth always matters. And we have to say it louder, and we have to also demand it of people. We're mad about the way people at MSNBC are talking. Ari Melber cares more about dropping rap lyrics than anything else or whatever he's doing.
I've got something for Ari Melber.
Go tell them. Yeah. Hey, it's like Biggie says, shut the fuck up. Why don't you just, I don't care. No one wants to hear it from you, Ari. They want to hear what Biggie says. They'll listen to Biggie. It's not, they don't want it delivered from you.
I will admit, the rap lyric stuff was cool until he started having Republicans on there and letting them spout their bullshit. And now I'm totally off.
Just all of it. Challenge it. It's our right. We're on social media. We have this ability. It doesn't matter if they don't respond to us. Make yourself visible. Make yourself visible and say, I go to Joy and be like, Joy, I don't like that you had Charlemagne on here. I don't like that you're talking shit about Joe Biden. He's doing an amazing job. Why aren't you telling the truth about Joe Biden? I mean, eventually people are going to see the challenging questions and they're going to start asking why we're asking those questions. Is my hope. I mean, that's the best of what we can do until I get a job writing about politics again, where people are paying me to write about politics. It's up to us as the collective to get the truth out.
I think we're going to do a good job of that over the course of 2024.
I hope so.
Just hanging there.
I'm going to do my part.
Same. All right. As for my closing thoughts, I'm going to regale you with the saga of Train with Tish from Twitter a few weeks ago.
I responded to her today.
Yes. Earlier in January, she posted a tweet with it's like a selfie picture with her dad in the background in a hospital bed, where she says, "Hey, my dad says, go fuck yourselves to all the masked lunatics." That was like January 3rd or something. Since then, we've had an update where she's posting a picture of herself with her dad from a previous time earlier in his life, saying that "you made me who I am today. You taught me to fight for my beliefs, to be strong, and to never quit. I know how proud you were of me over the past few years. I got this, Dad. You're in such a much better place now. Can't wait to see you again." Meaning that he died of the COVID. So the lesson here, and I just want to explain, the people listening to this, I'm sure you're 100% on board with get your vaccinations, wear a mask when the shit is going around and people are getting sick. Do your best to not be a victim of your own demise the way Republicans are. Because this is just a common theme. Republicans, conservative, quote unquote, conservative voters sacrificing themselves to the altar of their orange moron of a God for absolutely no reason when they could just make common sense, rational decisions. But conservatives aren't the only people that are out here making these, uninformed, unintelligent, irrational decisions. Normal people are fucking morons too. Don't be one of those. But I'd also like to use this opportunity to just regale you of a tale of just what it is to just follow these people blindly and where it can get you. Travel back to the year of 2020. It's the middle of the COVID pandemic. and Trump is on TV telling you to do asinine shit like inject yourself with bleach. Obviously, no one's that stupid. Hopefully, I don't know. There's probably going to be like a TikTok bleach challenge anytime. No, one of the things Trump suggested after trying to convince his constituency that COVID was a hoax, that one of the treatments for COVID that's more effective than anything the doctors were currently offering at the time, if you may or may not remember this, was hydroxychloroquine. He's like, take hydroxychloroquine. It's a fucking miracle drug. Even though COVID is a hoax, it'll heal you right up. And I'll never forget this. It always sticks with me because it just sums up the experience of the Trump administration, 2020, like conservatives being brainwashed. It just strikes that note, right? There was this elderly couple who had been staying largely quarantined throughout the pandemic to that point, and they saw Trump on TV pushing this hydroxychloroquine, and I think the lady was like, look at the ingredients on this fish tank cleaner. It says hydroxychloroquine. And the husband was like, yeah, that's that drug Trump was talking about. And like, even though they weren't infected with COVID, weren't showing any symptoms. And also like, I don't understand why they decided that they needed to take some kind of treatment for a disease that Trump said was a hoax. They were like, yeah, that's the hydroxychloroquine. Let's go ahead and take it. So they mixed up them some fish cleaner detergent / hydroxychloroquine cocktail and decided to take it. And the woman ended up in the hospital and the husband died. And I'll never forget it because that is the exact experience that you'll end up with if you vote for Donald Trump.
Keto.
Yeah.
I got a cat tear.
Yeah. So don't be like that. Don't let these morons go out here and convince people to vote for Donald Trump because they'll be voting for their own death. And that concludes this episode of Pardon the Insurrection.